Duryodhana stood tall on his chariot, draped in steel and silk, his eyes burning with ambition. The cries of warriors echoed across Kurukshetra like restless spirits preparing for war. The soil trembled beneath the boots of thousands, and the sky was painted with dust and divine expectation. Yet, amidst this chaos, the Kaurava prince was thinking. He wasn't just watching the Pandava army, he was calculating, measuring, plotting. They think their virtue alone will win them this war, he muttered. But I have warriors, heroes, gods in mortal flesh. His gaze turned toward Dronacharya, his teacher, and the one he had just spoken to moments before. Drona had given a faint nod, not of approval, but of acknowledgement. That was enough. Now let me remind you, Acharya. Duryodhana continued, more to reassure himself than to instruct. You, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa ever victorious, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Jayadratha, and the son of Somadatta. He spoke each name as if invoking ancient spirits from the underworld, each syllable cracking the air with reverence and desperation. Duryodhana rode along the front line, watching his generals prepare. Bhishma stood with eyes closed, whispering prayers to gods he had long ceased to expect answers from. Karna sharpened his arrows, his golden armor gleaming like a curse. Kripa walked among his soldiers, quiet, sharp-eyed, detached. Ashwatthama was already pacing like a caged lion, and Vikarna, younger, more conflicted, stood staring at the horizon, where justice waited with drawn bowstrings. Each one of them, Duryodhana whispered, is ready to die for me, and I for them. But even as he said it, a chill crawled up his spine. He shook it off. Die? No, we shall not die, we shall conquer. This is not a death march, this is destiny. He gathered his top commanders that evening under a great banyan tree near the river. The moonlight turned their faces pale and ghost-like. Duryodhana stood at the center and began again. You, Acharya, are our wisdom. Bhishma is our wall of steel. Karna, my soul's fire. Kripa, our eye that never blinks. Ashwatthama, our vengeful storm. Vikarna, my blood. Jayadratha, whose gates shall block even the gods. And Bhurishrava, Somadatta's son, steadfast, loyal to death. No one interrupted him. Each name carved silence in the air. Every single one of you holds the weight of my kingdom. You are not men. You are my immortals. Bhishma opened his eyes slowly. We are men, Duryodhana, and war turns even the immortal to ash. Later, in the quiet of his tent, Duryodhana sat across from Karna. No guards, no armor, just two friends, bound by wounds the world refused to see. Karna, they doubt you, even now, Duryodhana said softly. Karna smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. They always will. I was born cursed, wasn't I? No, Duryodhana said. You were born to fight, with me, for me, and I will wait for your entrance into the war, like one waits for the first storm of monsoon. Karna touched his bow gently. When I come, they will know. Duryodhana nodded, but the thought still scratched at his pride. Why must Bhishma's vow keep Karna out of the first battle? Old man, he muttered to himself, you delay my deadliest sword. The younger Kaurava, Vikarna, sat alone beneath the stars. Duryodhana found him there, legs crossed, face still, hands resting on his knees. You spoke once, against me, Duryodhana said. I spoke for what I believed in, Vikarna replied calmly. That doesn't mean I won't die for you. Duryodhana looked at his brother for a long time. You are strange, Vikarna. You have loyalty and conscience. I am not sure which one will kill you first. Perhaps both, Vikarna said with a faint smile. They sat in silence. Duryodhana found no anger in his heart, only pain. Vikarna reminded him of the boy he used to be before hatred twisted him into a king. Jayadratha arrived late into the camp. Dust clung to his beard, and his eyes were fevered. They mock me, he said, almost spitting. The Pandavas humiliated me. They shaved my head. That shame still burns in me. Duryodhana placed a hand on his shoulder. Then burn them back. Stand at the gate of our defenses. Guard it with your life. No one must breach our circle. Jayadratha nodded. Even if it means my death. It may. Jayadratha smiled, but it was twisted, broken. Then let it be glorious. That night, Duryodhana couldn't sleep. The campfires flickered like dying stars. Too many, he whispered. Too many are ready to die for me. Before the war began, they had one final feast. No music, just fire and food and silence. Duryodhana sat surrounded by the very warriors he had named. Each face was etched in fate. Drona's was unreadable. Bhishma's was resigned. Karna's burned. Kripa was stoic. Ashwatthama growled at his own thoughts. Vikarna looked far away. Jayadratha drank deeply. Bhishma watched the flames like a monk. I want to thank you, Duryodhana said. Not as a prince, as a man. I know what I have asked of you. No one replied. Tomorrow, we fight not just for me, for everything, honor, loyalty, truth, whatever each of you believes in. Still, no reply, because they all knew what tomorrow meant, and some of them, in the back of their minds, had already accepted that their names would be remembered only through death. The sun rose blood red. The ground of Kurukshetra trembled with war elephants and war chants. Flags rose like spears into the sky, and Duryodhana stood armored, crowned, eyes shining. He looked over at Bhishma. At last, he said. Bhishma nodded. It begins. Duryodhana raised his hand. Trumpets blared. The conch shells of war roared through the heavens. He closed his eyes for a second. You, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Jayadratha, Somadatta's son, all of you, may the world remember what it means to fight for a cause. And then, in a flash of steel and dust, the Mahabharata began. The warriors he named would stain the soil with blood. They would fight, they would fall, and the irony would unfold just as destiny had scripted. Because sometimes, to call upon the names of heroes is to sign their death warrant. Yet Duryodhana, even then, believed. Victory or death, he shouted. There is no middle path. And the earth shook, accepting his oath.